This is a topic. Michelle Malkin, who's been on the show a couple times, she's a warrior on the American right, the conservative side. She's written books. They're always like encyclopedic. In fact, the last time she was on, we were talking about her book called Border Inc., I think it was called, full of footnotes, detailed to death. So Michelle Malkin has been a spokesman for the Young America's Foundation. Young America's Foundation, founded in 1969, just a stellar organization, basically committed, basically committed to young people and conservative ideas, committed to encouraging young people to stand up for and understand conservative values. Young America's Foundation has had Michelle Malkin as a speaker for 15 years. And yesterday, I think it was, or even maybe this morning, today, no, I guess it was 2 days ago, they announced that Young America's Foundation, are severing their relationship with Michelle Malkin. The issue is an organization, rather, it's an individual to start with, a guy named Nick Fuentes, Fuentes, Nick Fuentes, who is apparently, by things he has written and said, he's a white supremacist. He's a white supremacist. He has a group going, and I don't even, it's funny, that the group, his followers call themselves the Groypers, like Groypers, Groypers. It's something to do with Pepe the Frog, not my thing. But anyway, they call themselves the Groypers, and they are followers of Nick Fuentes. So he alleges himself to be a conservative, but he's a white supremacist. Apparently, I mean, he and his group hassle Turning Point USA when they're on campus giving speeches. They have a few statements attributed to some of the people affiliated with this Groypers Nick Fuentes guy. He actually apparently, or someone affiliated with his group, basically said they believe that, in fact, here's the quote. I really want to read you the exact quote. So this is a guy who's a speaker for Groypers and affiliated with Nick Fuentes, who said about this, about segregation. You can listen. I'm not going to play the clip, but it is available on a clip. Enough with the Jim Crow stuff. Who cares? Oh, I had to drink out of a different water fountain. Big effing deal. Oh no, they had to go to a different school. Even if it was bad, who cares? It was better for them, it's better for us. This is a guy, a supporter of Nick Fuentes, saying he supports segregation. He does not mind, the separate water fountain, separate schools. He's anti-Semitic. This group is anti-Semitic. And so he's obviously, and this is what I want to get right, the real point of this segment. So apparently Michelle Malkin has defended this guy, Nick Fuentes, kind of saying, hey, we got one big tent here, he's writing a lot of things, but I guess he's off on this. He's anti-Semitic, he's a white supremacist. And so Young America's Foundation basically said, we're conservative, and this has nothing to do with conservatism. This is wrong, and we cannot affiliate ourselves with anyone who would support this kind of talk, which leads me to what I want to say about conservatism and the difference between Republicans and Democrats. So, by the way, and Young America's Foundation is right, 100% right, that if Michelle Malkin cannot denounce this guy, is dangerous for them, and they should not have her speaking for them if that's, if she's supporting this guy. But here's what I really wanted to say about all this in politics. On the Democrat side, and many people point this out, it never matters what any Democrat does wrong, ever, ever, ever. Hillary Clinton is a walking felony. She has a litany of huge problems behind her, huge corruption known to the world, not even a question. And yet you could not get a Democrat in this country, in Washington at least, to criticize her, to even say she might be a little bit morally unfit. They won't do it. They always stick together. On the conservative side of the aisle, on the Republican side, we have the most popular president in decades among Republicans, President Trump, and we have a former presidential candidate now serving in the U.S. Senate, Mitt Romney, who spends half his day finding reasons to criticize President Trump. On our side, we air our dirty linen, we criticize publicly all the time. And people say, and I agree with this notion, that's because on the right we actually think. We think about what we believe in. We're a party of thinkers, and we stand up for principles. And we aren't going to stand behind someone when they're unprincipled. And I think that's exactly right. It's exactly right to say when someone goes off the reservation and they're really wrong, like this guy, Nick Fuentes, anything to do with white supremacism, has nothing to do with being Republican, nothing to do with conservatism, nothing to do with being pro-America. It is the most white supremacy, anti-Semitism are profoundly un-American ideas. And on the right, the party that stands up for America and conservatism, we must denounce those evil ideas and the people who voice them. They have no place in the Republican Party, no place in the leadership of conservatism. So Young America's Foundation is right about that. The only but I want to add is this. We need to do a better job on our side making a distinction between issues that are, we can agree to disagree, we're on the right side of the aisle, we're both on the same side, conservative side, but we disagree about X. I can list some issues like, there are conservatives, Republicans who say we should legalize drugs. I do not agree, but I understand it's a policy position. We can talk about it. We have people who are pushing more and more about prison reform to some point that makes some conservatives concerned. We can have disagreements. There are some issues that are just policy differences on the right side of the aisle, and that's fine. There are other issues that simply must be walk away from that person, vanquish them, push them out of our, don't let them taint us. And the principle, and those are principle ideas based on principle, like racism. If you're a white supremacist, you have no home in the Republican Party, no home in the conservative movement. That is a profoundly anti-American idea, and you can't voice it on our behalf. It's ugly and evil and wrong. But we have to be able to make distinctions between agree to disagree, that are policy issues, and principles, which we simply can never tolerate, never will. Anti-Semitism, white supremacism fall in those categories, and there are others. And one reason I raise this before I go to my first five, I'll tell you folks, I do this show every day out of love of this country. I speak about all sorts of issues. I try to give history and background and details, and I give you links. You can go on my website, americacanbetalked.org, and look at them. You can read them yourself. I've had people email me after a show and say, you said something nice about John Bolton. That's it. I'm unsubscribing. I'm never listening to you again. And I have people who said that about other guests I've had in the show. You had so-and-so on. I hate that person. People, we don't have enough conservatives. We don't have enough Republicans for the stomp my feet, pick up my marbles, and go home attitude over every policy disagreement. We have to recognize the threat to America is the monolithic American left. It is a radical threat. On the conservative side, the patriotic side, the love America side, the constitutional side, we have to be able to entertain differences of opinion without the stomp my feet, pick up my marbles, go home and never talk to you again attitude. There aren't enough now, and this is why I get to the point about Malkin, Michelle Malkin, who's writing and speaking so far in my life. I thought was great. I don't understand why she's defending this Nick Fuentes guy, but the writing and thinking that she's done is spectacular. But this is one issue. White supremacy, anti-Semitism, we have to say those people have to walk away. They can't be in this great GOP that embraces a variety of policy solutions, that embraces different people, embraces people of every race, religion, national identity, skin color, origin, all of those things. All those people are welcome in the GOP side, in the Republican side, in the conservative side. All those people are welcome. But some ideas can never be welcomed on the conservative side. White supremacy, anti-Semitism, and other ones I can't get into today are not welcome and must be banished.